like to make a lot of things from scratch around here. Every once in a while I break down and buy something, but I really try to learn how to make it myself. One of the things that my kids really enjoy when we buy is a jar of like nacho cheese from the grocery store. And yeah, it tastes good. But I wanted to figure out how to make this at home from scratch without using Velveeta cheese, just with using real cheeses. And we finally came across a great recipe that we really enjoy. So I'm going to show you how to make it, what cheeses we use, tell you about the ingredients. I will type up the recipe below in the notes, and you can make it for yourself. It's really quite easy.
Stop.
Okay, good job. Okay, so we use 2 tablespoons of butter, and then we use about 1 onion, and that onion is going to be sauteed in that butter. And then we're going to add in 2 cups of whipping cream, and then we'll also be using
2 cups.
This is the cheese I typically use, this Jarlsburg. I've often found it at Walmart, and recently when I couldn't find it at Walmart, I found it at Aldi. You can also use Gruyere cheese for this. I use this entire wedge, which turns out to be about 2 cups, and then I use 3/4 cup of just shredded cheddar cheese. And then we also use some
organic diced tomatoes.
Yep, organic diced tomatoes, and some, in this case, this is homegrown cayenne pepper, and some xanthan gum. And that's it. We're just going to mix this all up, let you know how we're doing it, and it'll be ready to eat. Yep, go ahead and turn that on. We're going to melt the butter. Forgot to say, we also use jalapenos to give it some spice. You can use the diced tomatoes with green chilies that you find in the grocery store. I've used that plenty of times. Or, you know, you can just buy a thing of green chilies, or in our case, we're using home canned jalapenos, so that just using more produce from the garden. I don't get diced tomatoes canned real often. Most of the time I'm making tomato sauce, so those are store-bought. The butter is melting. When that's done, we're going to add the onions and start sauteing those.
Saute.
Okay, we're sauteing those onions in the butter now. Let's just let them sit there for a minute. Thank you. Okay, those are looking about done. We're going to add the cream. Okay, stir it up. All right, now that the cream is in there and being stirred, we're going to add in the xanthan gum, and that should thicken it up. Just need a 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum. Okay. We're going to wait on that to simmer a little bit and see if it thickens up. And if it doesn't, we can add some more.
And then cayenne.
Okay, this will bubble up quite a bit, so you do need to make sure you keep an eye on it, or it can definitely overflow. It's not really thickening up yet, but we're going to give it just a minute and see. Okay, as you can see, it's getting really bubbly there. Go ahead and stir it down again, Damien. All right, I'm going to add a little more xanthan gum. You keep stirring. Okay, I'm adding another 1/4 teaspoon. This is probably going to be plenty. You can definitely see that it's starting to thicken up some. I don't know if you can see that real well, but it's thickening up. So now we're going to go ahead and stir in our cheeses. All right, We're going to start with the cheddar cheese. So you're just going to put like a handful of that in at a time. Okay, and go ahead and stir that in because you want it to melt. Okay, so after the cheddar, we're going to add the Gruyere, or Jarlsburg here.
Ooh, yeah, that's looking good.
Just kind of add it in one handful at a time. Hold on.
Okay.
And stir until it's melted before you add the rest of it.
That's what the topping looks like.
Okay, so that's what it looks like with it all melted. Now we're going to add in some seasonings.
Like
Keep it on low. You don't want it to burn. Okay, let's add in, I'm just going to guess,
One
let's start with a half a teaspoon of salt.
Oops.
Okay, and then let's do a quarter teaspoon of pepper.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, and then we're going to add in, let's just do a quarter teaspoon of cayenne.
Like we did.
Start small and go up.
Yeah.
No,
That's 1/8.
Yep.
Of course. Right here.
Go ahead. Okay. And go ahead and stir all those in. And then we're going to dump in the tomatoes. Maybe not, let's not scrape all of those in there, okay? Let's just scrape maybe half of it in there.
Like that?
Well, that's not half, but okay, keep going. Okay, now let's stir it up.
And then we'll have a taste tester taste it.
Exactly. Good job. Now let's just let it cook on low for a minute or two.
And that's looking good. Okay,
Okay.
how's it?
It's got really good flavor.
Okay. A little bit of spice.
A little bit of spice, but I think we're going to add the rest of the peppers.
Okay.
So this is all just up to you, how spicy you want it and everything. It definitely has plenty of onion flavor. And I just kind of, usually it's about 1 onion's worth. And I just kind of dumped a lot of dried onions in there because I don't have any fresh onions right now. But we're going to put the rest of the pepper in. So just season this till you think it's has the right flavor. And it will be ready for you to eat.
And also our family also loves a lot of spice.
I should say too, this is a keto recipe, so it doesn't have any flour in it, but I'm sure if you don't have xanthan gum, you can find some other kind of thickener that you can use to thicken it up, such as possibly flour or arrowroot powder or cassava flour or something along those lines. So this is just a basic recipe that you can use to kind of suit your own taste, but I really like the flavors that it gives and the texture that it gives. It's not too runny, you know, or anything of the sort. So have this with your dinner, enjoy it with nachos at while you're watching the football game or a soccer game or whatever, and I hope you enjoy it.
Here. Oh, no!
You with your dirty face. What are you eating for lunch?
Nachos, cheese.
Nachos.
Cheese, beans, and cheese.
Chips, beans, and cheese?
Yeah.
Yep, and those
Alright.
beans are some of the ones that I canned last week.
And we home ground them.
Yes, we did grow those. The refried beans were really easy to make too. I just took a can of the pinto beans that I had canned up, and they were not seasoned at all, period, when I canned them, not even with salt. So I added some salt, I added some pepper, and I added some homemade taco seasoning. And just did that to taste, and they're ready to go. Oh, and I cooked them in a little bit of milk. So that's all there was to it. Mashed them with a potato masher. One of the kids' favorite meals. Enjoy.